G'day guys, it's Jake here. Nothing in this video is financial advice. Please do your own research when it comes to investing. Please sure check out my links below, including exchanges I use and social media content that I post. Alright, let's go. So, another weekly video on a Saturday, and we're going over some slightly different things this time around. Starting with meme coins, and I've bring up the Google search trend for meme coins over a 5-year period, and you can see the absolute virality of it right now, especially from 2024 to current day. And previously, if you go back to the future, when charts first started, and at a little run up to 1 back in March 2020. Ever since then, it's been really flat, 0, 0, 0. Then we had a peak, the first peak in the last cycle, up to 5, went down, no one really cared about it. And then bam, it peaked again at 5. So it peaked at 5 and peaked at 5 again in October 2021, the last post-halving year. So really, it looks like absolutely minuscule on this timeline so far, but that was peak euphoria. Okay, then really hovered around 1, 0, 1, 0, did nothing, and then May 2023 we got a huge spike to 8, so even more interest came in that year, and then came back down, nothing, and then peaked again December of 2023, and it got to 7. Okay, so we had a 8 reading here and a 7 reading here. So getting more views, more attention. And we're back down again, nothing, early 2024 in February. And that's when I remember that this time last year, and it went parabolic. Okay. So meme coins got to 26, probably higher than that. Currently measure it to the very peak. And that was massive euphoria. We had explosion of all kinds of coins coming out of the woodwork, and correction back down. No one really cared. Really dropped back down to 7 as low as September 2024, and then March upward. Then 17, end of last year, when the elections were wrapping up, and then straight after that happened, boom, we had a huge spike of 76. This is the highest it's ever been, and it just absolutely trumps the 2021 period. I got to 5, like absolutely, it's no comparison there. We're at 76 here, had a correction down here, all right, early in the year, 33, and then recently peaked right at the top there. Okay, that scale was 100. Okay, so got all the way to the top, highest peak interest. Now we're starting to come back down. Okay, so we're in February mid, and it's updating till the 15th, I think, and we're at 44, all right? So we are coming down. So we had a big, massive spike up to the highest level in history, and of course, 100 is maxed out. So the attention meme coins is absolutely crazy, and now we're coming back to earth. But you can see a big development over time, and seeing this cycles is different in regards to the attention of where the eyes, influencers, and that. Preaching, and it's definitely meme coins because it's such easy onboard retail, and there's not much fundamental value there. It's just hype and speculation to the highest degree. So that's that one there. Now you go to Bitcoin search trend, and it's on the downtrend as well. It's at 24. Last time we were at this level was around October, November last year, so it wasn't for long ago. And we're on the downtrend. Okay, so interest is definitely dying off. We did have a big peak up to 66. All right, around the election period, again, had a massive spike up, and peaks here in March 2024, which is that hype phase. So everyone went parabolic that time, and Bitcoin made an all-time high at that stage, so it made sense for the interest to go really, really high. But we are definitely coming back to earth, and it's still not a lot of people coming back to space. It's still pretty dead, feels that way, but the meme coins are definitely taking the attention and definitely take the spotlight away from the other sectors in the crypto space. So you can definitely see, there's a lot of eyes attention onto the meme coins, which is it shouldn't be. It should be the other way. It should be looking at utility, things that actually make a difference in the space and are building and growing and moving it forward. But meme coins are not that at all. It's just about it's just an easy onboarding tool, and yeah, it's not definitely not like our cycle at all. It's not about meme coins. There's only one or two, like Doge, and that was it. And then CB came on the scene right at the end of that year. But this has been absolute. Oh, it's been crazy with meme coins. So that's meme coins and Bitcoin, and the search trends. So that's that. A nice ad pops up for the fear and greed. So crypto fear and greed. Looking at Bitcoin here, and we're at neutral, 48. So yesterday was 50, slightly lower. Last week was fear. Okay, so we had a bit of a nice drop. And greedy for the last month. So we have come back down. Okay, I see the timeline here. This goes back to mid-January. Okay, so we want to go back to the start of the year, really. And, we had the first reading at the start of the year was around 66, so still greedy. And then ever since then, we had highs, but this was the highest peak going back as far as December, okay? And then we've been going down ever since, all right? So he's trending downward, lower highs, as you can see there and see there, all right? So we are going down, and over this period, this chart is trending down. So November, this really peak, this is like the peak, 94, okay? Which doesn't stay there very long historically. Only 2021 period, we start there for a very extended period of time, which is the start of that year, 2021, end of 2020. But we're in a different phase with monetary policy at that stage, with the Fed and money printing going berserk. So that made sense. But now we're in a different environment. Okay, I can show you back from here, and that was it there. Okay, November 94. All right, so we have been downtrending. Okay, we're going down, and that makes sense. A bit like 2024, we had a nice peak here up to 90. Okay, so similar to 94, I just showed you in November, and this is March, though, and got to that level, and then it went down from there. Okay, so the price. Okay, so we got to 90 again, 94, and then been going down since. So it doesn't start there very often, but if I show you 2021 period up here, got to 90s, and end of that year, November 2020, you start there for quite a number of months. So from November to February, so you see November there, and we did a dip right down here. It spiked down in late January and back up there in February. Okay, so it was about a 3-month period. But yeah, that was the only time in history it's ever done that, so that long, the 90s. So go back to here. In June of 2019, it got there, the mid-cycle peak in June of 2019. And then I said previously it was March 2024 and then November of 2024. So only 1, 2, and then 3 and 4 times in history, ever since this was created back in 2018, it's ever gone to the 90s, okay? And this time is it's looking like 2024 again and 2019, not like 2020 when we sat there for an extended period of time. But we'll have to wait and see there how this progresses, and we do shoot up again or continue this downtrend. As it plays along with the search trends as well going down. The fear and greed is going down as well. So we've got a tweet by Pixel on Twitter now. This is the cycles, okay, Bitcoin on a monthly time frame. So you see the 2013 peak, so it's a post-halving year, and he measured out 48 months. Okay, it's a monthly time frame. Go to the 2017 peak, and you can see there, 1,461 days. Cycle 3 was that peak, 2013 to 2021 peak, and that was 47 months, so slightly less, a month less, but nevertheless pretty similar. And then this cycle is predicted to be a similar 47 months, okay? Could be 48 months, but 47 is possible as well. I'm not sure what month that would put us at. So that's this is the start well, this is December, I believe, or January. I don't know. It was roughly around September time frame, October-ish, September, which is where I predict it topping around that time. Okay, so if it follows this timing between each peak, you can see the bottoms as well in green. The very bottom there, 2015, going to 2018, 2019. Okay, if you can see there, it's 47 months. Again, the bottom to the bottom was 47 months, and then another bottom will take us out in sometime in 2026, late 2026 to 2027. Okay, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. This chart progresses, but it's very, very interesting nevertheless, and something to look into. Okay, I do believe these ones in orange are the halvings. Okay, so each halving, how it's spread out. Okay, and the measurements between. Yeah, so it's halving periods there in orange. But yeah, the green and the red is most important. Okay, to see where we could peak this cycle. So it's very interesting data. I just thought I'd like to share that. I did share this chart as well. You can see the halvings are quite clear there in orange. And the halving could come out into 2028 sometime. As like, yeah, 2028, correct. 4 years later. 4 years. But yeah, you can see peak coming. And then even going out to the next cycle where that'll peak in either 2029, roughly. Okay, so that'll be where the next cycle, if it plays it exactly like every other cycle. Okay, going back 2013, 2017, 2021. This cycle, if it repeats, and then it could happen again. That'd be great. So it's pixels. Now going some charts. So Bitcoin here on the 3-day time frame. And it's not doing much at all. Go from last week. Take a daily time frame now and zoom in to see what's happening, and you can see a lot of nothingness. Okay, this week's been pretty since last week Saturday. It's been just doing nothing. It's gone nowhere. Price is just in the middle of this range. I've drawn the range between this peak here, this low here. Just to sort of show you, there's a top bottom there, a wick to the top, a rejection here, a bounce off that level, rejected here, it deviated above. Okay, we had a stalling out period here, wick below this to sweep all this liquidity. It goes lower. It tried to stay above this level, and then it failed, went back down below, and now we're inside it. Okay, and we're struggling inside this channel. So it's these sort of very thin range between 99.5 to 92,000, and I do see whatever which way, and it holds a candle to close above. You want it on a sort of more or less on a 3-day time frame, will be more stronger. It's a high time frame, the stronger it is. If this closes a 3-day candle above, it's probably going to go higher. Okay, if it goes a 3-day candle below, closes. All right, I'm going to close a candle close. We haven't closed a 3-day candle below this level yet, okay? Once you do that, I don't think it's a deviation. I think it's permanent and it's going lower. All right, so it's going lower. And this will be my next level at 67,500 to fill this area here, this green candle, and come back to the support level. So I don't see any support below this until we get to the 67.5. There could be something at these highs at 73. Okay, as you can see, there's a high there and a touch on this level. But we'll have to wait and see. 67.5. If a candle closes, a 3-day candle closes below this level. If it closes above, the bullish scenario would be, however high. I don't know how high, but it could go up to 120 first, stall out, and then come back down, do something like this, and then continue higher into way out to here. I don't know how high and whereabouts these will occur, but we have to wait for what the 3-day candle does, and the direction will probably be set from there on. But at the moment, stuck in this range. nothing to say just yet. So just hold your horses for that one. And the bull market support band, I'll pull that up. We are, very comfortably above it. As you can see there, it's EMA on the green is 88 and 87,350 on the SMA. So we are rising, but we are sort of flattening out. It's not as steep as this right up here. I'm starting to curl back around. So we'll have like a sideways period like this, where it just consolidates through the bull market support band, does nothing. Or will it just meet it, come back down, meet at some stage, wick it, come back, and then go higher. Or just go through it. You could just go through it. Okay. And you could just literally have scar that, you know what I mean? But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I don't know if it's going to go down here or not. I just say it's most likely because of the support level that I established. Now, another reason why I see it going down to this level, if it does play out, is the risk metric. I pull up the risk metric, pull up the logarithmic. I like going on the weekly time frame and showing you on the weekly. Turn this off for a sec and turn performance mode. Turn these on, and you can see this is probably what the outcome would be. Oh yeah, that's right. That's fine. Performance mode might just stay on. I don't know if it's working or not, but yeah, I'll just turn it off for now. See this channel here quite clearly. Okay, you can see it rises over time. This logarithmic regression channel. Okay, the Bitcoin's price likes to stay inside of it. As you can see there, it's not perfect, but it's pretty decent. And the risk metric on the right-hand side of the table there, it usually get colors. I don't know why it's not showing for some reason. Usually it does show. It's not showing at all. But anyway, it's not showing this time around. But you get the fill in between to show you even closer levels. But, you got the risk at the moment at 59. So we are sort of just above the mid-level. The 50 here on the risk table is 84,000. 59, 60 is 98K, 99K. And this rises over time. Okay, this channel goes up and up and up. And I've marked in red the top could be potentially in September. I'll have to wait and see there, 200,000. But if you come back down to the 60s, I did work out it's roughly corresponds with the early 30-odd range. As this was rising over time, so this will increase. So if you get to the mid-60s, don't know how long, a couple of months or so, it could be at a 30 risk level, around that region, I'd say, 30, 32 risk. And that'd be where I'd be interested in accumulating. At not this stage, but I want to see a lower risk level for my strategy to kick in. At the moment, we are at 59, so quite mid to high in this range. If you look at the bands, you want to be buying these low risk levels. So, I can pull up an oscillator to show you even better where we are, because the oscillator can track you over time. Just have this loads. And yep, so it does load. And you can see the dots are the same. So 50, 58, right? 59-ish, right? You can see there. The dots are basically the same as this chart. And it dot plots all this data. And anything below, 30, check mark it there in blue. So all this blue is great buying areas. So from June all the way basically up to February, all this, it told you to buy. This is buy as much as you can. And ever since then, it hasn't gone into that blue zone yet. Okay, so it got close here in September 2nd, but never got into it, unfortunately. And then it went higher. Buy there. Also told you to buy here after the pandemic panic. Okay, all throughout here, told you to buy. It's quite easy. And then back here in 2019, this sort of area here told you to buy. So you didn't know this was coming, sort of a freak shock, and also told you to buy here. Okay. And then you go back and look at this. Oh, this 2017 or 2014, I should say, to 2017. All this, told you to buy all this. It stayed, pretty consistent with this band here. It's pretty low within these two bands, and it was blue the whole way through. So you had literally from January 15 to May 2017, you had 2.5 years of buying, just constant buying. Like how good would have that been back then if you knew this indicator, of course. And then back in this period, I told you to buy from like this dip all the way up here. So it's a pretty good indicator. I like it. It's part of my strategy personally. And right now we're at sort of 50s. So yeah, it's nothing to do. Just sit on hands and wait for something to happen. At the moment, there's nothing. So pretty boring. Ethereum now. That's what ETH is doing. I'll take the risk off. And we're on logarithmic still. So logarithmic chart. And you can see that we are on this trend line, okay, bouncing up and down. And we are holding it right now. So trying to stay above this trend line, okay. Holding on for dear life, Ethereum is. Will it break and close it a weekly candle, should say the weekly time frame, and get a close and then head back to 2400? We'll have to wait and see there, or do we break higher and then just take off to the races? Once we go back to 4K, okay, once you get to 4K again, the bull market's on. We're breaking it. We're not going to get rejected from this level. We rejected it once, twice, 3 times. And that was around this level here. Okay, May 2021. And we got September 2021. We poked a head above it at the end of that year. Take this off now. So yeah, if that happens, we're going to go higher. Okay. Or if we just close a weekly candle below and retest this level, and it look like we're going to go back up. Yeah, definitely see us going back down to $1,500. Okay. It seems, if you go on the 2-week time frame, it's zoom out and it's still also a high or low on the macro sort of scheme of things. It's still, this will be a lower low than this one. Okay, so it is downward structure. So we become bearish structure until we break this low. Okay, this wicks here. Quite clearly, if you break this, we are going down and looking bearish for the meantime, but this could be just to fake people out and go down to 1,500. And people will be screaming, when you get to this level, people will be screaming for Ethereum to go down to $1,000 or even down to 800. So once you see people screaming for lows, back to this period in end of 2022, I don't think it's going to happen. Usually the crowd's wrong. And it was a bit like when people were screaming Bitcoin when it was at these levels, 2022, week down in 17, people thought it was going to 10K, went up a little bit, went down, and it got to these really, really low levels at 15,000. And people were like, this is going to 10K for sure, has to go to 10K, which was correspond to around these levels. I never got there. Okay, never ever got there. It just continued higher. You listen to the crowd and wait for 10K, you never got it, and then got to 20K, 25. I'm still going to wait for 10K, and then 40K, and then just never got there. So just don't listen to what the crowd is screaming levels. So that was that one. Okay, so you saw that back in that period, and yeah, so $1,500 as I'm seeing, just to see a flush out. Got the MACD on the 2-week, and it looks bearish. It's crossing bearish again. And looking to head, you can see it looks to head lower. Something like this. And then it crosses bullish again. I don't know when, but sometime in the summer. I don't know. But yeah, it looks cross bearish. And then price should definitely collapse there. And look like we're going down and the bull market's over. And people screaming, this is over. Sell everything. Get out. Or we're going lower to $1,000. If you hear that sort of stuff and it just gets... it's too over the top. Instead of fear and greed, go all the way down to fear. You can definitely see this could be potential bottom. This is where I'm sort of seeing Ethereum go to. Not financial advice, of course, but and then you got look at Solana now. This is another one. It's looking sort of same sort of MACD, it's crossing bearish now on the 2-week time frame. You can see it is holding this level. It's upwards sloping trend line. So it started October, touched it here, and it's nicely formed. And we are really holding this pretty strongly, but it's going to usually they break to the downside. We have sort of wicked the high here, the all-time high. Going a weekly time frame. I do think we've closed a candle above. We just closed above it. You can see there, above the all-time high. And a nice divergence is playing out. And yeah, it looks like it's going to come down to 110. And then 80, worst case scenario, I think, because this level here, okay, from 2022. I don't see it going down to here. So that'll be my next level. $22. Nah. Don't see it going that low. I see 80 or 110, and then it continues higher, okay? So it'll scare a lot of people, one of the two levels, and then continue in the end of the year. All right? So that is Solana. Quite simple there. Nothing to really say. USDT dominance. To go up and go down. You go on the automatic charts there. And it's taking a while to load. I need to say it's really bad. Apologies for that one. But yeah, over time we have tagged this trend line, okay, as you can see, from end of 2017. So it was a Bitcoin top there. Bitcoin slightly topped here in 2018. And then topped here. Okay. 2019, June, that mid-cycle peak. And then right before the pandemic. And then here, obviously the first peak to the 2021 cycle, the second peak. So these are all Bitcoin peaks when it touches this trend line. Peaked here in 2024, of course, went lower. Bitcoin did. Now it touched this level again. We have gone below this trend line, okay. It's finally broken it after all these years. But I do see it being a double bottom, okay. So there's two bottoms here and it going higher. The short term, look at the MACD, it looks bullish. Okay, the bullish divergence is playing out. I do see it's playing out and going to the upside for a short period of time before, I don't know where it's going to go to, either there or there. That'd be pretty bad if it goes to there. If it goes to this and meets this trend line going upwards, expect it to collapse, and then go into the end of the year. Collapsing. I should break this low, okay, and make a new low as we go into the end of the year. But who knows what's going to happen. But I do see this going up in the short term before we have that mega run towards the end of the year, because Bitcoin hasn't had a 30% correction in over 800 days, I believe it is, from a daily candle close. So it needs to correct 30% to reset everything. So that's USDT dominance. This is Bitcoin dominance. And as long as Bitcoin dominance goes up, Bitcoin can either go down or up. It doesn't matter which way the direction of Bitcoin USD goes, but Bitcoin dominance will go up as long as monetary policy stays restrictive. Okay. And we're staying QT. You've got QE periods when it goes down. The Fed is increasing the balance sheet, and QT when they're reducing balance sheet. And the lower risk assets usually outperform the high risk assets. Bitcoin dominance, okay, will continue higher. And we had a 2017 period where we were in QE and it just fell off a cliff there. It was trending down before that though, and then really dropped off a cliff. QT and then QE, QT, okay. Quite clearly, if I overlay balance sheet, you'll see the Federal Reserve, and you can see it folds it quite nicely. So the balance sheet goes up and sideways. So that technically it's not QE, but it's consistent after it had its rise. Okay, and it went down, right? And then when it started, balance sheet started to go down. The dominance did the opposite, went up. Okay. And then it bottomed right here. It topped. Dominance topped. And it went higher. And what happened to Bitcoin dominance, it fell off a cliff at the alt season there. Okay, now we're not in alt season at all. As you see, the balance sheet is going down and Bitcoin dominance is going up. It's going up pretty clearly. Okay, until this changes, this balance sheet goes flat or goes up, you'll see change of direction for Bitcoin dominance. At the moment, I'll just get rid of the drawings and stuff and get rid of the balance sheet. We sort of get the idea now. We grab a Fibonacci retracement tool from this sort of peak area from the last cycle to the bottom. We've approached the 618. We are sort of stalling out at it, and we wicked up higher. We haven't got to 786 yet, which is at 66%. Got to 64%, pulling back slightly, so slightly above the 61.8 level. This sort of yellow box area, which I have drawn out, so this could be the top here. So who knows how much higher Bitcoin dominance can go. All depends on that balance sheet as I showed you before. Okay, that doesn't really matter for the dominance. I've got some other charts. Total 2 minus USDT divided by Bitcoin. So everything except for Bitcoin, which is total 2. But get rid of USDT from that equation and go against Bitcoin. And so this is like an oscillator. I like viewing from the 2-week time frame. Quite condense it, so it fits a lot better on the screen. This loads, of course, takes forever to load because my internet is so terrible. All right, so we've got it loaded now, and you can see you can go back, even obviously 2015, but it was really not really established. It was only just sort of Bitcoin, and then when ETH came to the scene, it started to pick up and grow, and then we had a peak and a correction in 2017. So that was that post-halving year, 8 years ago. Then went up, then back down, and then we had a big explosion. So you can see this is definitely a level to look out for. And came back to the next cycle, 2019, and we bottomed here and never really went below this level. Okay, even to 2021, and the post-halving year occurred, and then boom, explosion up to this red box that I've drawn, which is the top, which is basically so everything. Get rid of USDT against Bitcoin. Everything getting to around 1.5 times Bitcoin's market cap. Okay, and this 2017 period went to 1.8 times Bitcoin's market cap, and it's at the very peak of the bull market there. It was a lower high, so I've just drawn out that lower high portion, which is basically the top of this cycle. So it gives you a nice, even, realistic number to hit for the top of this cycle when the Bitcoin peaks around this toggle and the rest of the market. But yeah, so these lows are quite clearly there, and I just see it come back down to this level, resets. Then we had the end of QT, and then boom, whenever that peaks, 2026, I don't know, could go into February, January 2026, probably extends a bit longer, but it'll be pretty quick and it'll be explosive move, I reckon, getting to that peak like it did in 2017. It went down to here all the way in December, and it still went to the top of the range. There's 2 big candles, basically, on the 2-week time frame. Bang, bang. 4 weeks, a month, guys. 1 month to get to the top. Pretty crazy times back then. A lot smaller market cap back then. Okay, so I don't expect it to go pretty parabolic like that did in that period. Probably slow, like a 2021. It was a bit slow getting up there. We had to get to this bottom pretty quickly, pretty soon. So if you want to see a nice extension up to here, and it'll probably take a little bit longer because a bit bigger market cap. But I do expect it very, very soon to get to here, probably by April. I'd say April would be my prediction. Could potentially be March. And then we want to see a nice grind to the top to get alt season. Okay, so it's total 2. This is basically total 3. So you get rid of ETH as well and USDT and get against Bitcoin. And it's pretty similar, but it's smaller. So it's 1, a Bitcoin's market cap, the equivalent to Bitcoin's market cap at the tops, and then at the bottoms, see October, then you got December 2017, which you really bottomed out and went to the high there in January 2018. So the bottoms was about a quarter of Bitcoin's market cap. Okay, so you want to see it go back down Do the same thing, okay? Come back down to the bottom. Before we get explosive move, either to January, February, I don't know. Right, so I just see April being a time frame when it happens and going to the highs. It's basically an oscillator, up and down, clearly. So nothing more to say about that. Others, Bitcoin is outside the top 10. And I've got drawn this green box here. As you know, the 2019 period, 2021, December 2020, 2017, and then obviously back there, December again. So this level is pretty prominent. And I haven't seen us gone down here yet. I do see us going down here pretty rapidly and aggressively in the coming month or two. It's about April. And then, boom. I don't know how high we can go. But, I don't know if it's going to come back down and make a lower high or reach this high again and get to actually 50% of Bitcoin's market cap by that stage. Okay, that's what it equates to. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out, but I do see it's downtrending, okay, until we hit this box. All right, that's my target for others outside the top 10 against Bitcoin. Then we got short-term April, and then it's got this level, which is others. So I just showed you outside the top 10, but this is not against Bitcoin, but it's against total 3, okay, without others. So basically, outside the top 10 versus inside the top 10. So outside the top 10 versus the top 10 coins. And you can see that you got to get rid of Bitcoin and ETH aren't in this equation because it's total 3, okay? And you can see we have a high here quite clearly at around 90% of Bitcoin's market cap. I should say Bitcoin market cap. So I'll say that again. This is of the top 10. So others against the top 10 of 90% of the top 10 coins get to here. So you can see that March 2024 was a crazy period for others, okay? Back in early 2022 before the quantitative tightening began, and early in that 2021 post-halving year, peaked here. I'll just ignore all this noise because that was early days. We had these lows here, okay, 2020 there, and end of the bear market, 2022. That's why I really marked this level out. So that's when it's bottomed out, the markets did. At a higher low here and wicked in this level again and then shot to the top of the range. So I do see us coming back down as he broke this trend line and downtrending until we get to here, okay? In April, probably. And then, boom, we go up to the highs, okay? So playing it like the other charts and getting to the top probably by, I don't know, could be January, February. And it'd be a pretty aggressive move, okay? Be very, very aggressive. Getting to this top, this big, and peaking it like these other periods. I don't see anything different. But yeah, with the wait and see how this plays out, this is what you want to see if you're very high risk altcoins outside the top 10, outperforming the top 10. All right. And then you got ETH Bitcoin to finish off with. And ETH is all market cap stuff. So ETH, I see a little bit longer to go on this downtrend, unfortunately, for ETH maxis. Probably going to around, could be 11% or 12% of Bitcoin's market cap before we see a parabolic rise up, okay? And oscillate to the top, we get to around 55%-ish of Bitcoin's market cap, okay, for ETH. So, yeah, we're seeing a bottom very, very soon. Those other ones I might mention another time, but you get the point is this you got others. You want to see this bottom out. I heard you. You want to see this bottom out. Others against Bitcoin. And then total 3 against Bitcoin. And total 2 against Bitcoin. So all these charts, you want to see them bottom out. And then we get an alt season, okay? But at the moment, not happening. And yeah, we'll see pretty boring price action. We don't know what's going to sort of occur. Short term for Bitcoin, don't know whether it goes up or down, but I do see if monetary policy stays tight for a while, even after March, then goes into May, and they continue quantitative tightening, then I see alts go to the lows, okay? But in terms of Bitcoin USD, we don't know where it's going to go, okay? It's a guessing game. As long as we stay in this range until we find a direction, which way it wants to go. So that is the video. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Just going over some slightly different things this time around. So look at meme coins on the Google search trends, seeing how they're pretty high up and making historically record-breaking attention. Getting 100 on the Google Trends data the past 5 years. Never gone there before, but did in January this year. So pretty crazy. And now we're sort of starting to downtrend. Okay, so we are going lower and lower and lower, which is good to see. We need to see a nice cooling off of meme coin craze. So sick of hearing about it on Twitter, but it'll never sort of stop. But because we're in the post-halving year, so it'll continue to ramp up, but they're definitely declining there. Bitcoin search trends are declining as well. And looked at different market cycles for Bitcoin and seeing sort of on track to repeat 2017, 2021. Okay, cycles with 47 to 48 month between the tops. Could put us around September, October time frame for Bitcoin to top out. So looking at those interesting market cycles on Twitter, and then looking at market cycle bottoms as well, how long it takes between the bottoms. Pretty similar time frame. And looking at charts, as usual, Bitcoin, ETH, and then looking at USDT dominance. Okay, so Tether dominance. And, the other stuff. But, old Bitcoin pairs as usual. No stock market stuff, fortunately, for this video. I'll probably stick to crypto for this series. I think it's more exciting. It's more my generation, Gen Z guys. But anyway, it is what it is. It's speculation year. It's the hype year. It's the year that could sort of go riskier. Not financial advice, but if you know what you're doing, if you don't have obligation, you've got debts and you've got kids and whatnot. If you're a bit older and less risk averse, and stick to what works for you. But with crypto, for my age bracket and financial circumstances I'm in, I could take bigger risks. And it'll be pretty exciting year, I think. We'll do pretty well. As long as I follow a strategy that I have to a T and buy at lower risk levels and sell at higher risk levels. That's my strategy. It's pretty simple. And look at these charts. Wait for things to bottom, like any alt Bitcoin pairs to bottom out. Which is quite clearly what I showed you. I want to see this happen. And the Fed to shift their policy from a restrictive stance to a more accommodative stance. And you'll see the absolute money flowing in, I think. So that's going to happen. And that is the video. So if you enjoyed this one, please smash the like, comment your thoughts below, smash the subscribe button. Be sure to check out the links below. And I'll catch you next one. Cheers.